Welcome to Bankers Life Fieldhouse for semifinal Saturday, the 2017 Big Ten Women's Basketball Tournament. This is the first of two semis we're going to bring you. And it's Purdue and Ohio State to get our night started. The bracket, Ohio State, Purdue, Maryland and Michigan State, all with the right to play on Championship Sunday. And we are happy to have you join us alongside the Maryland Hall of Famer, Christy Winter-Scott. I'm Lisa Byington. Vera Jones is with us as well. One of the best offenses against one of the best defenses. And you're highlighting a couple of guards for our marquee matchup to start.
Well, Ashley Morissetti for Purdue. She had 21 points yesterday against Indiana, and her leadership really provided a punch in the second half. And Kelsey Mitchell had 27 points. The two-time Big Ten Player of the Year is ready to play.
Our Buffalo Wild Wings starting lineup. Morissetti has some help. Keys and Odin have a couple of career highs already in this Big Ten tournament. Kelsey Mitchell's getting some help too. Ohio State, one of the deepest teams the Buckeyes have brought into the postseason, and certainly the deepest that Kevin McGuff has had is in his tenure in Columbus.
Oh, no question, Lisa. And Ohio State starts with a man-to-man defense, but Kevin McGuff said if his team can stay healthy, that's one thing that hurt them last year, literally and figuratively, not having that depth on the bench.
These two teams met once in the regular season, and it was a tight one.
Yeah, that game, Kelsey Mitchell shot only 17%, 3 of 17 from the floor, 1 of 7 from 3. That was only a 5-point victory for Ohio State.
Yeah, 61 points was the season low for the Buckeyes. And a jump ball. It'll stay on this side of the floor.
Well, Purdue starting in a man-to-man also. A 1-4 flat look, out of bounds under for Ohio State.
Tori McCoy getting another start as she drills it. McCoy getting the start again because Ohio State playing without Steph Mavunga again.
Yeah, Stephanie Mavunga hurt her foot in practice back on January 9th and has been out since then. They're hoping to get her back in time for the NCAA tournament.
Both of these teams playing with some of the best basketball in the conference coming into tonight. Purdue has won its last 6. Ohio State its last 12. Morissetti got tied up. And the foul on Kiera Lewis. Sharon Versa, the winningest coach in Purdue history, guiding the winningest program in Big Ten tournament history. You see her career record there. Purdue as a program has won a Big Ten best 9 tournament titles.
You can see the fortitude that Sharon Versa embraces for her program.
Kevin McGuff, his career record, 8 games, his 9th coming here today, the 4th straight trip to the semis. Won the first regular season title as an Ohio State coach this year, chasing down a season sweep, trying to get the tourney title as well.
A 1-2-2 full court look after the free throw make by Purdue, trying to slow the pace of Ohio State by containing in the full court.
Lewis had absolutely nothing there in the paint and kicks it out to Sierra Calhoun, who, by the way, has been shooting 62% as of late by 3.
Yeah, nobody was in there to attack the offensive boards, though. Ohio State plays with confidence on the offensive end. They average 87 points per game, but somebody's got to get in there on the board.
Or the freshman, excuse me, it's Dominique Oden picking up where she left off in that game against Indiana. Came off a career-high 24. There's Kelsey Mitchell's first attempt.
Not much you can do but put a hand up. You've got to deny her touches. That's the best defense on high-volume shooters like Kelsey Mitchell, 2-time Big Ten Player of the Year.
6 of 9 from 3 in that Northwestern game. A game that Ohio State had 5 in double figures for a Big Ten tournament tie, 99 points. And the first 2 for Keys.
And Kelsey Mitchell didn't even play in the 4th quarter. She only played through 3.
McCoy gets it again.
McCoy has really stepped up offensively, and when Ohio State can score, they can put on their 2-2-1 full court press, which was really an issue for Northwestern yesterday.
Odin trying to sky to get in off the fingertips of the freshman.
Well, Dominique Odin, she loves the corners. She hit a dagger of a 3 yesterday against Indiana. Purdue was down 17 points to start the second half and came back to win that in-state rivalry game. It was an awesome environment here in Indianapolis.
An awesome environment here for the Saturday semis. Ohio State still has only missed 1 shot. 4 of 5 here to start. Odin again. She's got a 3 in and out on her 2 attempt.
What Ohio State needs to do, they need to score at a higher clip than they did in their last meeting. They couldn't get into their press in the last meeting.
Calhoun has missed her first 2 attempts. Way too strong for McCoy. Back the other way is Morissetti. She has Odin if she wants to use her, but neither.
The senior leader for Purdue gets things going, but you better turn around. Morissetti turned around, and Kelsey Mitchell was right there with the ball. You can't jog back after a made shot. You have to put the jets on and get back, turn around, and be ready to play deep.
Pull up for Lewis.
And what Purdue did yesterday in that second half to come back against Indiana, they started switching in positions 1 through 4, and that really helped them get back into the game. And this is a defensive-minded team. We already spoke about that. Only allowing opponents 54 points a game in the last 6.
And 58 for the season.
And Morissetti does a terrific job right here of managing her pace. Right here, turns it into a different level of speed as she finishes in transition. Her eyes are on the basket the entire time. She knew the defense was coming, but you have to see the target to get a good finish like that.
You always want to see a senior playing her best basketball of her career towards the tail end of her career, and that's certainly the case for Ashley Morissetti.
If for nothing else, to plant seeds for the young ones, like Dominique Oden. This is how you play, like letting them know they don't have to wait until their senior year to play with that level of intensity.
Morissetti with Asia Doss all over her. There's the other freshman, Eliana Harris. Gives it up to Keys. And it was last touched by Keys. Second turnover by Purdue. Both of these teams take care of the basketball fairly well in this season. Purdue averaging just under 14 turnovers per game.
Little zone action here by Purdue.
Mitchell again, that's her second attempt.
Kelsey Mitchell said, oh, you're going to play zone? I'm going to go ahead and try to bust the zone with a long 3. And that's within her range, a 1.5 feet behind the line. You've got to come out and contest that.
Morissetti looking to take on Lene Harper on her. Gets it out to the freshman up top. There's just 6 on the shot clock. Odin in the corner, feeding Perry on the block with the turnaround and draws the foul on Alexa Hart. Locked at 9, one of the best offenses against one of the best defenses in the conference. And for more on how the Boilers lock it down, let's bring in Vera Jones.
Well, in 9 of 11 of Sharon Bursup's Purdue years, she has been able to hold opponents to 62 points or less defensively. And that has pretty much been her recipe for success. With the win over Indiana yesterday, Sharon Bursup became the all-time winningest coach in the Big Ten tournament with 21 tournament wins, surpassing Ohio State's Jim Foster. Now, before the start of this year's tournament, I asked her what has been her recipe for success, so to speak. She said getting her team to play loose, play consistent, rebounding, and, of course, great defense. I don't think we'll see anything but that in today's contest.
Vera, thank you. Anytime you can get 18 to 22-year-olds to buy into defense when it's not very fun, you're doing a good coaching job.
Oh, no doubt. And when you know you have that in your back pocket, that gives you confidence. Yesterday, they were down 17, and I can't say that enough. A lot of teams would pack it in, but they trust their defensive schemes. They trust their defensive effort. And they knew they could climb back in that game and win it.
Perry got bumped by Cooper. Shayla Cooper's first. Perry has spent a few times here early at the free throw line. She'll go right back there. Bridget Perry, one of the two seniors, Ashley Morissetti and Bridget Perry. The two veterans trying to get another tournament title for Purdue. We mentioned the 9 titles. What is a stark contrast. The next closest team is Ohio State at 4.
That's right, and just the fact that Purdue has been able to come in here, and I think that speaks loudly as well for their tradition. We were already talking about Morissetti and Odin, but the players who came before that left a legacy.
Harper for 2 was the largest lead of the game for Purdue. Ohio State had started 4 of 5 before that bucket. They were 0 for 5. A little bit of a drought. Mitchell with the takeaway. Forced a tough shot. And again, Ohio State with the pick. It's a 3-on-1 break. Out to Cooper for the layup.
Talking about the defense of Purdue, this 2-2-1 press and the ability to anticipate off the ball for Ohio State has come up big. The deflections, and coaches chart deflections. It goes in the efficiency ratings. It gives you a positive in your line of statistics.
Here's Odin, the freshman. She's short, but following, and look at the hustle. Gets it out to Morissetti. Bam! Purdue making Ohio State pay. Harper with the answer.
Now, Renee Harper only played about 10 minutes yesterday. She fouled out. And she had 11 points. So it's good to see her get off early offensively.
I'll tell you what, I think that we have 2 of the top offenses the way this has been going back and forth between these two teams.
Purdue is hanging with Ohio State in terms of pace. And that bodes well for them if they can sustain that.
Lily Cooper with the last bucket for the Boilers. Here's Asia Doss, the smooth jumper.
Now, Asia Doss went right into that high post area in Purdue's 3-2 zone. And that can either be occupied by a post cutting there or a guard coming in from the weak side.
Mitchell got called for the reach-in.
Nice pitch pass. Ashley Morissetti doing her best job as a senior leader in terms of being a great distributor to Cooper. He was available to knock that one down.
5 team fouls now for Ohio State, which means Odin goes to the free throw line. And 24 points, the career high against Indiana. No other Purdue freshman had scored more in Big Ten tournament history.
And she hit a dagger of a 3 in the corner to seal the deal, but then she also went to the free throw line like she is now, and she was cold-blooded from there as well.
She's got that baby face. How can you be cold-blooded with a baby face like that?
It's on the inside.
8 for 8, Purdue is for the free throw situation. Ohio State has yet to take a trip to the charity stripe.
2-3 look this time by Purdue.
Ohio State trying to get the inside-out touch. Waterman into the game for the first time for the Buckeyes.
See Purdue trying to clog the paint a little bit better. The 3-2 zone leaves that gap at the high post, so they went 2-3 that time, trying to contain that area.
Largest lead has been 4 for Purdue. Got an offensive foul call on Dominique McBride for the Boilers. And that's the first team foul for Purdue.
Take a look what happened. It's like a moving screen right here. You can't lean into your screen. You have to stand like a wall. Let your teammate come to you.
Doss with the take, threads the needle pass to Alexa Hart.
Alexa Hart has come up big also in the absence of Stephanie Mavunga inside, providing that offensive punch.
On the transition, Keys is in and out. Keys still battling for it on the floor, and there's Waterman on the floor. Look out, this is where Mitchell can be dangerous. That's a 2, she's short. After hitting her first shot, she's come up empty-handed.
Well, she needed someone to come run at her. She stepped into that shot too slow. She was out of rhythm. It just looked too easy for her, so she came down, slowed down, and shot it short.
She's missed her last 4 shots. 8 ties between these two teams already. We're just in the first quarter. McBride at the post. And here comes Harper. Ohio State averaging 87.5 points per game. Second best in the conference, one of the best in the country. It's the 2 for Waterman.
Nice step-through move there by Waterman from that high post area. Again, full court pressure being applied once again by Ohio State.
We've seen that pressure cause problems for Big Ten teams all season long. Under 10 seconds here in the quarter. Doss is hawking Morissetti. Morissetti wants to keep it, and she will. Still time left. That'll be it. How about that? 42 points combined scored between these two teams in the first 10 minutes. Purdue, Ohio State, battling for the second time this year and a chance for a spot in the title game.
He's the fastest player in NCAA women's basketball history to get to 2,000 points. Did it in only 79 games. That was ahead of Jackie Stiles, who did it in 83 games. And if you ever saw Jackie Stiles play, Lisa, she was a microwave. I mean, every time down, she was just ridiculous.
I hate to admit this, but you and I are both old enough to say that we have watched Jackie Stiles play.
Saw her live, and it was phenomenal. Same kind of energy from Kelsey Mitchell.
You know, Kelsey Mitchell will be chasing Kelsey Plum for the all-time scoring record. She could get her, and Plum is averaging over 30 points per game this year, and she's a senior, so she'll graduate, so Mitchell will know exactly what she needs to get. She comes back for her senior year.
Absolutely, and Plum leads the country with those 30 points and over 3,000 for her career. It's ridiculous.
Ohio State, though, not just Kelsey Mitchell scoring in the first quarter. You saw that they're spreading it around. 7 different players have scored at least a field goal. That's the second turnover for Ohio State. Now, 11 of Ohio State's 22 points in the first quarter coming from the bench.
And that's the beauty of the depth, and that's what we were discussing at the beginning of the game, Lisa. And Kevin McGuff is just pleased to have people to go to and shuffle the deck, if you will, and get people rotating in and out.
Purdue coughs it right back up. The 8th turnover for the Boilermakers. A team, like we had mentioned, is normally good at taking care of the basketball.
Right now, Ohio State has only been able to score 4 points off of those, but those 4 points were scored in live ball turnover situations. When it just goes out of bounds like that, yes, it's unfortunate, but it's better for Purdue to turn it over that way than to turn it over in live ball situations where Ohio State's off and running.
This is the largest lead, if you can believe it, for Ohio State. Just 2 points. Purdue is led by as many as 4. It has been nip and tuck all the way. And a foul called on Bridget Perry. That's her first. Kevin McGuff in his 4th year coaching in Columbus. We had mentioned this is by far the deepest team that he has had. And around the screen, Andriana Keys is whistled for the foul.
She's had a career high against Illinois. A couple of days ago, she had 26 points in that game, and when I asked her after the game, what was it that made you put the team on your back, she said, I didn't want to go home. I didn't want the team to lose. And she just said it with so much conviction. It just gives you chills to know the purpose behind what they're doing out here on the court.
Pull up for Lewis, and the rebound to McBride. Purdue on the transition. Ohio State slows him down, or do they? Morissetti's going to take it. Mitchell with the pull-up. She's hit her first shot, and again, can't convert. She's missed her last 5 since hitting that first shot. Perry for 2, and the end one.
Well, that time, Purdue beat Ohio State up the floor in transition. And Ohio State was not ready. A great bounce pass right there by Ashley Morissetti. And the seniors fired up, trying to make a name for themselves and leave a legacy at Purdue.
Purdue is one of those bubble teams trying to make its way here into the NCAA tournament. And man, what a win it would be to knock off Ohio State. But that's the second personal on Alexa Hart for the Buckeyes.
Well, in their last matchup, Purdue didn't shoot the ball well. Yes, they defended well and caused some disruption for Ohio State offensively, but they were 1 of 15 from 3 and didn't shoot the ball well. So if things have changed for them offensively and they can do their due diligence on the defensive end, you never know.
Cooper got it taken away. And the foul on Cooper. Reaching in. It's 2 on Cooper. Those are the kind of fouls that drive coaches nuts.
Absolutely. No sense in doing that. Just give the ball up, hustle back. And I know as a competitor, you want to give it the good college try, see if you can get it back, but it's not worth it.
Up top to Morissetti. Lewis from the corner. And Morissetti reaches up to get that, and another reach-in foul by the Buckeyes. It's McCoy this time.
Maybe they just need a quick reminder on not fouling that far away from the basket. You've got to get out of there. Ashley Morissetti's quickness is starting to impact this game. She's turning it off to the races. But you're a post player. As a post, you don't want to sit down and try to contain a guard that far away from the basket. You've got to get back and protect the paint.
We've seen a couple of fouls now that far from the basket by Ohio State. Perry goes tumbling down there on the baseline and another turnover. Turnovers, a big story. How about the quarterfinals against Indiana? Just 6 and 9 already today.
That's the last thing they want to do at the end of this game is look back and circle that statistic as something that cripples them or takes an opportunity to win away.
Cooper with the pull-up. The only senior on this Ohio State team playing some of her best basketball. Odin on the transition. And back the other way we come. Catch your breath. Mitchell staying with it. Mitchell again. Perry was there. They have shut the door on Kelsey Mitchell. Morissetti back the other way.
Ohio State seemingly looks a little flustered on the offensive end. Purdue started the game a couple of possessions in man-to-man. Ohio State scored easier against the man-to-man than they have against the zone.
Ohio State 1 for 6 this quarter. Cooper will get it back. 7 different lead changes already. This building has a championship feel. These two teams have championship energy. The right to play in the final on Sunday. And the 3, Ashley Morissetti gets it.
Cool, calm, and collected. Ashley Morissetti, she feels the momentum swinging, and it's because of their defense. They've gotten the stops necessary to get down on the other side and make Ohio State pay.
Pull up for Doss is too strong. Harper, one of the best rebounding guards in the country, keeping it alive. Here's McCoy again. Ohio State needs some points.
Well, defense by Purdue is a mainstay. Kelsey Mitchell getting away with a little Heisman Trophy action there with the arm straight out, but a great stop leads to easy offense by Ashley Morissetti, knocking down a 3 from the outside, too. Let me tell you something. Right now, the confidence level of Purdue and the poise is a dangerous thing for Ohio State.
You have to wonder if some of that confidence was built off of that regular season meeting. They were so close to knocking off the Buckeyes. They were probably hungry to get another chance at it.
And Stephanie Mavunga played in that game, and she scored 6 points in the last minute 15 in that contest. That's a 5-point victory for Ohio State. Mavunga misses 2 of those shots. You're right there in the thick of things.
Again, Ohio State without Mavunga again tonight. The block from Ohio State. Buckeyes want to push. Cooper to Doss for 3 is short. That would have tied it. And McCoy tips it away.
Ashley Morissetti, the senior for Purdue, coming up doing big things on the big stage at the Big Ten Women's Basketball Tournament.
So how did Purdue get here? How about in the second round, getting a career high from Adriana Keys against Illinois?
Her key was the key for Purdue in that game, relentless with her 26 points. And yesterday, Dominique Oden with the dagger three in the corner to seal things right here. Advances Purdue to the semifinals, and Morissetti was the one who passed the ball initially so that Odin can get that three in the corner.
And she has facilitated Purdue's offense here to start tonight. Morissetti accounting for all of Purdue's field goals, either by scoring with her 4 field goals or by passing with her 4 assists.
And that's what you want from your senior leader. You want the offense to go through her so she can get her own shot and distribute as well.
McBride can't get it. Here's Mitchell, who's now 1 for 8 after hitting her first shot. Work it around to Cooper from up top. Ohio State now 2 of 10 from back there. 28 points in the second quarter against Northwestern, just 3 in the second quarter tonight. What a difference a day makes. Mitchell, that's her range.
Looks like Ohio State is forcing the issue offensively. Just because they're feeling out of sync doesn't mean you rush your offense. You have to stay deliberate, stay poised, get good ball movement, and then attack.
9 seconds to shoot. Morissetti calling for it. The freshman's in trouble. Odin. McCoy was there, waiting. Veer Jones, what did you hear out of that Ohio State huddle?
You know, Christy Winter-Scott is right on point once again. That's pretty much it. Rush shot. So the focus was simply, hey, you got to move the ball. We're not going to get good shots if we don't move the ball first. So that's what they're looking to do offensively.
It's almost like you know what you're talking about.
I mean, Kevin McGuff and I, same page.
I guess you'll get paid today.
We'll do it for free. I love it.
Because I mean, up until this point, it was in question if we were going to pay you today. 3.5 to play here before the half. We have a good one here. We're happy that you could join us. Christy Winter-Scott, Vera Jones, Lisa Byington with you. This is the first of 2 semis. We'll show you on BTN. Of course, the Big Ten Network has been your home all week long for the Big Ten tournament.
See if Ohio State can be a little more patient. So they shoot the guard to that high post area and trying to get something.
And a foul on Keys, that's number 2. Ohio State has been 0 for its last 8.
But I like the way Ohio State sends a guard to that area because they don't just have to turn and shoot, even though that's what happened here with Harper. But she can also maybe get by and make the defense pinch in and then have post players to pass to finish at the rim.
Harper can't put it away. A Motel 6 player of the game. And what she did in the quarterfinals, she was 1 of 5, scoring in double figures. And she did not miss against Northwestern.
She fouled out in 10 minutes. That was tough for her. She wanted to redeem herself today as a foul was called there in the open court again by Ohio State.
Waterman's first. And even 3 minutes to play. Morissetti thought about it. Screen coming from McBride. And an offensive foul call on Nora Kiesler for Purdue.
Well, what Purdue wants to do against the zone, they like to screen the weak side so they can get that skip pass going. You cannot move off your spot. And it's tougher to set a screen against the back line of the zone that way without moving because that defense is shifting on the pass.
Ohio State, two different teams here in the first half, started out hot. They're in a drought currently. Waterman trying to get him out of it, and she does.
That was one of their best zone offensive possessions.
First bucket since the 6:52 mark for Ohio State. Boy, did they need that.
They needed to stay patient because Purdue's zone has really turned Ohio State upside down. Well, just look at their defense inside. Nowhere to go. No awareness by the offensive players that the defense is swarming, and it's causing Ohio State to rush their shots, rush their passes, and in turn, Purdue getting it done, pushing the tempo the other way. But the last play, right here, move the ball to the corner, open the court up, so now you have an easy open look in the sweet spot, the high post.
And they have made Kelsey Mitchell a non-factor so far tonight. Just 3 points. You see they are first in 3 different categories in the Big Ten. And their three-point field goal defense sitting at 4, and they're holding Ohio State to 2 of 11 from 3 here tonight.
And Kelsey Mitchell is 1 for 9 from the floor. That's just miraculous because no one else has really been able to contain Kelsey Mitchell offensively. She was 3 of 17, as we said before, in their last matchup against Purdue. So they have the secret potion to contain the high-powered offense that is Kelsey Mitchell.
3 for 17 overall, 14 points. And as a team, again, Purdue held Ohio State to a season-low 61 points, though the Buckeyes won that game.
And that was a tough shooting evening for Ohio State. They shot 31%, and that was something that Purdue manufactured because of their defensive pressure.
Mitchell splitting the difference. That's one way to get her offense going. Send her to the free throw line, and the foul against Morissetti. That's her first. Mitchell's first trip to the free throw line.
You know, in that game against Purdue that they lost, they had lost the game to Michigan State in the game prior to the 5-point victory over Purdue. And in that Michigan State game, they only shot 22% as a team. So they were a little bit flat, but they had that bye week in early February where they defined their roles in terms of individual positions. They rattled off their last 12 games in a row in the win column.
Took them a while to find their rhythm. There's some new faces on this roster. Transfers getting their first year to play in Columbus. It has taken Ohio State a little while here to find the rhythm throughout the year. It has taken Ohio State a while to find its rhythm here tonight. Waterman, again the touch. Right around the top of the free throw line.
Purdue just putting padlocks in the paint.
Contact made against Morissetti. The second on Mitchell. That's the team's 5th. For the final 125, Purdue will be in the bonus. Different lead changes in the first 20 minutes tonight. And Purdue still perfect from the free throw line. Mitchell pulling up for 2. She can't buy a bucket. And McBride is slow to get back.
Looks like she may have stepped on a foot, maybe turned an ankle there on that rebound. Trying to shake it off.
McBride. McCoy has been a defensive presence in the paint all night long. A discussion on the possession.
There was a discrepancy on who touched it last.
Steve Lau anyway, and Mark Zentz are your officials tonight.
Let's take a peek and see what happened. There was a block and then a tip.
2 seconds on the shot clock. Odin lets it fly, just beats the buzzer. The freshmen come into play as the calendar turned the march.
Dominique Oden, she has just been phenomenal. The freshman playing some passionate basketball, and her teammates are recognizing it, giving her a lot of love. Some high fives similar to the play yesterday, knocking in that three from the same corner.
No Purdue freshman had scored more in a Big Ten tournament game than she did against Indiana. Way above her season average in many different categories, all career highs. You talk about a rookie growing up. How about growing up in the last 2 tournament games?
I tell you what, they say that freshmen turn into sophomores on January 1st of their freshman year. We've seen that evolution in Odin.
Mitchell, that's a 2. Her first field goal since her first shot in the first quarter. Final few seconds. Morissetti trying to get one more go for Purdue. How about the other corner? Can the freshman do it again? Corner pocket for Dominique Oden.
Listen, I don't care what year she is. She's a ball player. She can get a bucket. Dominique Oden is here to play in the semifinal game. She hasn't been in the Big Ten tournament before.
Back-to-back threes and Purdue's largest lead.
Yeah, Purdue with a 5-point edge because they're holding Ohio State to only shooting 35% from the floor, and Oden was a huge part of it for Purdue. The freshman Dominique Oden got things going. She's 3 of 4 from 3, hit 2 huge momentum-building threes in the corners right before halftime. Momentum swinging in Purdue's favor, because Kelsey Mitchell is also off offensively, and give credit to Purdue's defense because of it. Kelsey Mitchell only 2 of 12 from the floor and 1 of 5 from 3, trying to calm things down. Settle down, Ohio State Buckeyes.
Yeah, the 7 points compared to Ashley Morissetti's 14. It's our marquee matchup. Just 2 field goals for Mitchell, 1 early in the first quarter and then 1 later in the second. You mentioned 2 of 12 shooting. But as we know, as the game goes on, Kelsey Mitchell gets better.
She does, because she is the ultimate competitor. She's the 2-time Big Ten Player of the Year. She is 3rd best in terms of scoring in the country with 24 points per game. She didn't even play yesterday in the 4th quarter and had 27 points in 26 minutes. So she can get hot quickly, score in bunches. She plays downhill at a rate of speed that is tough to contain.
Purdue shading towards her side. Lewis trying to drop it off to McCoy. A turnover on the first possession.
And that's not what you want to see if you're Kevin McGuff. You told Vera Jones we need to calm down and get the shots that we want on offense. In your first possession of the second half, you turn the ball over.
How tough is it to play against a Purdue defense? How about Ohio State? One of the top offenses in the country, held to 9 points in the second quarter. That's the second lowest total since Purdue held Ohio State to 6 points in the first quarter in the first meeting between these two teams.
And this is an Ohio State team that scored 99 points yesterday against Northwestern. 99. And that tied the highest point total for the Big Ten Women's Tournament.
Odin! Somebody's got to find the freshman!
She's not worried about it. She doesn't know better as a freshman. She doesn't know the pressure of this situation, the semifinals. If you win this game, you go on to the championship game to see what you can do, see if you can get a ring.
A takeaway. Here's Keys laying it out for Morissetti, all alone for two. Kevin McGuff's got to call a TO. Largest lead of the game at 10.
Well, nothing has changed for Purdue in terms of momentum, and nothing has changed for Dominique Oden, who knocked down another three out of the locker room at halftime. And Ashley Morissetti, the star senior, finishing with ease in transition.
Freshman Dominique Oden has some veteran numbers in this tournament so far.
Well, she has ice water in her veins. The young freshman getting it done today, 4 of 5 from 3.
Back-to-back threes for Oden to end the first half. Let's check in with Vera Jones.
Well, Sharon Bursup, naturally the first adjustment she was thinking of was defense. They said they want to take some work on how they can better defend on those double ball screens, the horn set. They're also looking on the offensive end of how they can break the press a little differently. And remember Harris, how good she was yesterday? Well, they want to try to get the ball to her as well on the baseline as much as they can.
Harris so far scoreless for Purdue. But the back-to-back threes for Oden to end the first half, and then the points here to start the second half. Purdue's on an 8-0 run.
And Purdue right now out-rebounding Ohio State 26-18. So they are getting the stops that they need and only allowing Ohio State to get one shot.
Keys with the take. And Keys chasing it down. Morissetti will reset.
And you have to be persistent in terms of getting to the 50-50 balls. Purdue is winning that battle as well.
There's that touch Vera Jones was talking about, but McCoy blocks Harris.
You've got to give a ball fake inside to Tori McCoy. There's great timing and superb hands for block shots in there.
5 of them tonight. Perry leading the break. Perry with the pull-up. And here it comes. You're supposed to protect me on that.
I would have had you. I closed my eyes, so.
You closed your eyes and you were pointed in the other direction.
I tried. I have bad nerves. Sorry.
Do better, Christy Winter-Scott. Do better. Ten-point advantage for Purdue over Ohio State. The first semifinal, we've got one of 2 to show you. Maryland and Michigan State playing after this one.
3-2 zone now by Ohio State. Trying to change things, see if the change in defense can change the momentum by Purdue on the offensive end.
The tip from Doss. Down low to Keys, and Ohio State nearly turns him over. How about the diving save from Oden to keep it alive? Perry gets it. Harris going after it.
We are in March, right? Watch the hustle play right here. Dominique Oden giving up her body for the sake of the team. You see Sharon Bursup clapping in the background. Coaches love that kind of extra effort. You don't just put your pinky out, oh, I can't get to it. You dive full force onto the floor for 50-50 balls. That's how freshmen start games at this level.
Mitchell from up top. And a foul on the floor as Harper went flying.
Some people may disagree and say, well, Odin can shoot the ball pretty well. She can score, but she can also hustle and be persistent to get to loose basketballs.
During the 12-game win streak, they're averaging 85 points per game, nearly 86. They're at 31 here tonight. And a foul on Morissetti, that's her second. The previous foul was called on Keys, that's Keys' third. Sharon Versup and this Purdue defense doing it again tonight against Ohio State. Keys will step aside with the three personals.
Sharon Versup, she's just a defensive wizard in terms of her coaching ability. And you were talking about the buy-in. You've got to be able to make in-game adjustments and supply the correct defense for your team.
Art can't get it. Harper gets blocked. Cooper and Perry were there.
Ohio State, look how high they've come up in their zone. Usually the top person in a 3-2 zone sits right at the top of the key. You see Lene Harper way out top.
Shot clock down to 4. There's Harris. And being stopped by Ohio State. Waterman this time.
Harris is 0 for 3.
Hard on the block. Ohio State just looks all out of sorts.
Well, they're trying to attack on the first pass. They're coming down either stopping or popping and taking a contested shot, or they're making one pass and a shot. You've got to move the ball against a zone. Reverse, reverse attack.
Purdue held Ohio State in the first meeting, the only meeting this year before this one, to a season-low 61 points. Buckeyes do not have a field goal in this quarter.
Look at how Purdue overloads the side.
Cooper! The freshmen have come to play for the Boilers. Largest lead tonight for Purdue. The takeaway from Morissetti. The Jets are burning. Doss with the athletic block. Here's Harper. Taking on Cooper. He gets whistled for the foul.
Dominique Oden. Write this name down, folks. She can get a bucket for sure, but she can hustle and stay persistent, and that's why Purdue has the lead right now. Welcome back to Indianapolis, where Ohio State is trailing Purdue 44-31. Purdue has done a terrific job against Ohio State's zone. Ashley Morissetti's going to take a cut here, but you see the stack right here? They're going to go right into an overload situation where Ohio State does not have enough defenders. Right here, the ball goes to the high post. Only 3 Ohio State defenders there, but they've got 4 players offensively for Ohio State, and Cooper gets loose in the corner. No one can get to her to contest that 3. So Purdue has done a terrific job in terms of execution against Ohio State zone. They shifted to that zone, trying to disrupt them. It hasn't worked.
Cooper knocking down that 3. Odin has 4 of the 7 threes for Purdue. Her next 3 ties a career high. She's gotten 5 3 different times this year. Scoring woes continue for Ohio State, especially in this quarter. No field goals for the Buckeyes. Meanwhile, Purdue, 8-0 run this quarter. In the first half, they had 12 turnovers. No turnovers yet this half. Here's Cooper again for 2.
I mean, Purdue is like a machine right now, and Ohio State, they were able to get into their press after that made free throw, but they have not been able to get into that press because they have been anemic in the quarter court.
Still no points this quarter for Kelsey Mitchell. They find her on the wing. Out to Doss for 3. Still no field goals. And a shot clock violation. Our State Farm assist of the game. Purdue working against that pressure for Ohio State and finding it wide open, Lamina Cooper.
They're picking apart that full court press, having a presence in the middle. They put their post player in the middle and have their guards running wide.
13 assists on 14 field goals for Purdue. Boilermakers are doing everything right so far.
And that's just what Vera Jones said Sharon Versup wanted to see. We want to work on our press offense, and you just see Purdue executing exactly what Sharon Versup wants.
Here's Harper getting that touch in the floater. And the first field goal for Ohio State in this quarter. 1 for 10 shooting for the Buckeyes.
And Kelsey Mitchell only 2 of 14 from the floor tonight. And Renee Harper, she's the most efficient shooter for Ohio State. 3 of 5 from the floor, made her only 3. Maybe they should try to get her the ball a little bit more.
And a team that shoots 46% for the year is shooting 30% for the game. A team that averages almost 88 points per game has 34 tonight.
And it just speaks to the prowess of Purdue's defense as Tori McCoy gets another block inside.
Her 6th block tonight.
Here we go.
Again, Ohio State playing without Stephanie Mavunga. McCoy, her 6th straight start without Mavunga. And another 3 for Purdue. Boiler up. We have an upset brewing.
8 of 10 from the three-point line for Purdue.
Mitchell way off the mark.
Man-to-man defense by Ohio State. They came out of that zone after Purdue picked it apart with the overload. On the screen on that weak side, trying to free Odin.
Morissetti spinning out of it. A 3 for Perry. Shot clock violation.
Well, Ashley Morissetti said, if you're going to give me that much space, hand down, man down, you got to take that. You got to take that shot. That's too much space. You've got to close out tight on Ashley Morissetti.
Morissetti accounting for 12 of the 15 Purdue field goals tonight. 6 assists, has made 6 field goals, and there's another field goal for Ohio State. Cooper and the block from McCoy. She's got a career high. McCoy with 7 blocks tonight.
And Tori McCoy, great timing, reaching over, getting all ball with the outstretched left hand there. But right now for Ohio State, offensively, they need other people to step up.
On the all-freshman team. Took a while to develop the confidence, took a while to get a rhythm of what it's like to play Division I college basketball.
She was a McDonald's All-American. Coming out of high school, shooting just about 60% from the floor. As a post player inside, getting more minutes because of the absence of Stephanie Mavunga, who's out with a right foot injury.
Ohio State basketball. There is Mavunga. At the time of her injury, she was leading the Big Ten in rebounding.
She always has her lip gloss with her everywhere she goes. She's doing the Mavunga minute, keeping track of behind the scenes of Ohio State during their trek here in Indianapolis.
Suffered a foot injury in practice on February 9th. She's now missed the last 6 games. Cooper for 2. Look out, the Buckeyes can score quickly and often, and they have cut the lead to single digits.
And when they score, they can put on their press.
6-0 run right now for Ohio State. to the freshman who has Mitchell all over her. Mitchell gets it blocked. Here comes the player of the year. They take it away. Cooper to Odin. Freshman to freshman. 16 for Odin. The two semifinals, this is the first. Maryland and Michigan State following. Harper with the putback.
2-2-1 now, trying to take away the middle. Cooper a little late on the rotation, getting there.
Shot clock still in play, but Purdue will take its time. 8 to shoot. McCoy went after it. Odin got it.
Dominique Oden is making a name for herself. They say stars are made in March. You're seeing a budding star for the Boilers.
Cooper walked with it.
Purdue continuing to play terrific defense, making a great anticipation play there, kicking it forward to the freshman Odin, who is having a magnificent game here in Indianapolis.
No school, no Big Ten program has had more success in the Big Ten tournament than the Purdue Boilermakers. 10 more minutes for Sharon Versup and the 5 seed to take down the 1 seed in Indy. 9 tournament titles for Purdue, the last one coming on March 10, 2013 against Michigan State. Dre Mingo led the way, the Maryland transfer. Transferring over to West Lafayette, getting 24 for Purdue. And that's the last time Sharon Versup and the Boilermakers have cut down the nets in the Big Ten tournament.
9 championships. It never gets old. And once you do it, you want to do it again and again and again. If you're an ultimate competitor, which all of these young women are, you want to get it done.
The 2 most successful schools in this tournament history you're seeing here on the floor tonight. In that 2013 game, Purdue held Michigan State in the first half to 14 points. As much as things change, sometimes things stay the same for Purdue.
That's right. And it's because of their defense. That's been a staple throughout all those championships.
Morissetti for 2. Tonight holding Ohio State to 42 points. 33% shooting. Final 9.5 to play in our first semifinal. The 1 seed is in trouble.
Ohio State needs to play with some desperation on some defensive stops.
And a soft touch from McBride.
Purdue continues to pile it on offensively. And that was a key component to their game last time they met Ohio State. Couldn't get things going offensively.
High-low look, gone awry. Vera Jones, what is Kevin McGuff telling his team?
I can tell you this, I almost forgot which huddle I was listening to because the focus was not offense. That's what you expect to hear from Ohio State. It was all about defense. Kevin McGuff wanted them to get back and make sure that he had a defensive adjustment, something I did not know, but because they had a number for it. But I can tell you when I see it.
Doss with the takeaway for 2.
Maybe some kind of trapping action, it looks like. Trying to come up and ice. And then shoot the gaps, and that's something Ohio State does really well off the ball.
Purdue now has the choice where it can take its time. It can eat some clock, an 11-point advantage. Lead has been as many as 15 tonight. 5 to shoot for Morissetti and Purdue. Morissetti taking it at him. And Doss whistled for the foul.
Ohio State trying to do anything they can to get back into this game, and it starts with defense. You just heard Vera Jones say that. But Kevin McGuff, is imploring his team to buckle down, lock in on the defensive end.
Morissetti looking inside to Perry. Waterman got a piece. 25 seconds on the shot clock. Our second semifinal, it will be Maryland against Michigan State. Those teams only met once in the regular season. Maryland taking it in East Lansing. Perry down low to Keys, gets blocked by Calhoun.
Ohio State to set something up.
Too strong. Hart trying to keep it alive. The Energizer giving Ohio State a second chance, and there's Waterman.
Purdue looking for a foul from Doss from behind. And Sharon Versa was trying to call a timeout there.
Perhaps the Boilermaker head coach feeling a little bit of a momentum shift. Mike, thank you very much. Maryland can score, so can Ohio State, except when the Buckeyes are playing Purdue this year.
Well, Purdue has done a tremendous job defensively. Just look at the numbers right here. Look at the 15% from three. Ohio State only 6 of 40 in the 2 games from range against Purdue. They do a terrific job of pushing Ohio State off of that three-point line. They challenge them to shoot out of rhythm. Ohio State right now looking at the time and score, wondering if they have enough in the tank defensively to get things going.
3 of 17 from 3 for Ohio State. 7:45 left. The 5 seed beating the 1 seed. Morissetti taking it at Hart. Harris keeping it alive. And she'll have a couple free throws coming.
And that's one thing that Purdue has been able to do well tonight. Get on the glass. They're +3 over Ohio State in that regard. 37-34. But they've attacked the offensive boards.
First miss from the free throw line tonight. Tomorrow on BTN, men's hoops teams look to close out the regular season strong, starting with Penn State at Iowa. Coverage starting at 1 Eastern on BTN, streaming live on BTN to go. How about that final between Maryland and Michigan State leading into this one?
That was Melo Trimble at his best. The clutch gene that he possesses is insane.
And a foul on Waterman. That's her 3rd.
Take a look at this foul. It's like you're trying to set a screen, but you can't displace a player.
Quick hands from Doss. Out to Mitchell. Morissetti in trouble. Ohio State wanted a travel. Those are Kelsey Mitchell's first points of the second half. She's got 9 in the game. Her season low is 13.
See how high Purdue has to come to get Mitchell.
Mitchell from up top. Flying after it is Waterman, battling with Perry. It took all into the 4th quarter for Kelsey Mitchell to score in the second half.
Asia Doss, her defense up top has been tremendous, trying to effort a defensive push for Ohio State. Kelsey Mitchell getting an easy bucket there. Hasn't been easy for her all night in the quarter court. Only 3 of 17 from the floor.
A 2-time player of the year sitting in single digits with 6.5 to play. Doss gets hammered. Ohio State cut the lead to single digits. Bridget Perry called for her 3rd. But this is an explosive offense. This is a team that they can turn to many people, not just a Kelsey Mitchell, to get it done. 5 in double figures in the tournament opener against Northwestern. And the Buckeyes put up a tournament-tying 99.
And they've got to make their free throws. They've got to minimize the issues that they're having in the quarter court. and maximize their opportunities at the line to gain some offensive advantage.
7-point advantage. Swinging it around to Odin, who's had herself a game. She's got 18. The pick for Mitchell. Off to the races. Kelsey Mitchell is going to go to the free throw line.
And that's what Ohio State needs. They need some energizers on the defensive end right here. Kelsey Mitchell with the high, hard hedge there on the screening action by Purdue. Gets a hand on it. She gets tapped right there by Morissetti.
Purdue has to expect one last charge from Ohio State. The #1 seed in the Big Ten is not going to go away quietly, but they have not had success from the free throw line. Pressure's still coming. Ohio State 7 of 14 from the free throw line.
Purdue fans wanting a touch foul called on Ohio State, which they get right there.
Purdue forcing the issue. That's the fourth on Waterman. Carey makes good on it. Purdue has only missed one free throw. Waterman will take a seat.
With Waterman going out, Cooper goes from the 3 position back to the 4 spot.
Lead at 9. Kelsey Mitchell sitting in single digits.
She was 3 of 17 the last time these two teams met.
Doss from the wing.
Mitchell was 3 of 17 in this game as well. Purdue doing an identical job defensively on the 2-time Big Ten Player of the Year, Kelsey Mitchell.
Morissetti finding Harris. And the offensive foul call, number 4 on Harris.
Let's take a look at this action here. Switching action defensively, and Hart couldn't recover. But you have to help the helper here. And Shayla Cooper waiting on the contact and takes the hit outside of the restricted area. Taking the charge from Harris.
No field goals for Purdue in the last 4 minutes.
Ohio State hasn't been able to gain any advantage from that drought by Purdue.
To Cooper, who just got back into this game. 11 now for Cooper. 9 minutes and counting for Purdue. No field goals since 9:14.
Purdue taking their time, getting into their horn set here, 2 post up high, looking to isolate on the block. There's a mismatch down there.
Morissetti stepped through. She walked with it.
It was a good idea had she not taken that initial first step.
19 turnovers for the Boilers. Mitchell from the wing. 1 for 10 from 3. And 3 for 18 overall. Harper creating the turnover. Harper, the recipient on the offense. defensive end in the reverse.
What an acrobatic finish there inside. Odin almost stumbled into a travel there.
22 points off turnovers for Ohio State. There's Perry for 2. Lead back up to 7. And Cooper with the foul. Back and forth we go.
Well, this is the semifinals for a reason. The top teams in the Big Ten Conference doing their best to compete to get to the championship game. And look at everyone fighting for the ball. And Perry coming up with it, digging in and finishing in the paint.
Purdue sitting in the bonus. 2 shots from here on out. 15 of 16 from the free throw line. Morissetti is perfect.
Ohio State only 6 of 14 from the line. When you're trying to make a comeback, you look at that stat. Without defense on you, you're not getting shots to fall either.
Mitchell almost turned it over. Maybe Cooper bringing it up. Cooper with the and one. Here come the Buckeyes.
Shayla Cooper with patience from the high post. On the pivot move, the rip, the contact, and the finish. Some emotion. That's what Ohio State needs right now. At this juncture, they've got to bring that on both sides of the ball, not just on the offensive side.
Double figure scores for Ohio State. Cooper with 13 and Harper with 12, and that's it. Did you expect that?
No, not at all, especially after they're coming off of a 99-point performance just yesterday. Same players, same uniforms, different opponent in terms of defensive pressure.
Mitchell still with 9. Down low to Harris. Her first field goal tonight. Purdue has an answer to every Ohio State charge so far. Here's Mitchell, he's short. Frustrations continue for the player of the year. And a jump ball tie-up. Ohio State gets it.
Ohio State now running out of time. If you look at this jump ball situation that just happened, Morissetti with a nice dime to Harris for the finish. Still setting the table for her teammates.
A dive for the ball. Cooper calling the timeout.
Perry and Cooper getting on the ground. Going for the loose ball here, the 50-50 opportunity. Who wants the ball the most? And Cooper's like, we need to stop the clock, timeout.
Ohio State just has 1 left in the final 2:27. Purdue, 2 timeouts left. Ashley Morissetti has led the way, another 20-point game for the Purdue senior.
She also has 7 assists as well, so she is getting it done by herself, but she's also been a terrific distributor for Purdue. But you have to honor her range and get out and contest it. And if you don't challenge it, she will make you pay indeed.
What would this win mean for Purdue? They are a team fighting to get into the NCAA tournament. You see the senior standout, a 6-game winning streak coming into tonight, and these are her numbers during that stretch.
Well, that's what you want to see from your seniors. You want to see them pour it all out, be an example of toughness. No regret basketball in March is what you want.
Cooper for 2. Flying after it is Harper, and it was off Harper last. 2 minutes and 16 seconds before a possible upset here in the Big Ten tournament.
Ice, a little trap there. Morissetti got it over just in the nick of time.
Morissetti saw some daylight. Ohio State just let her go.
That's inexcusable. Kevin McGuff has to be in shock. No rotation to the ball from the weak side.
23 now for Morissetti. And that's a possession. Kelsey Mitchell didn't even touch the ball. There she is. Mitchell taking it inside the lane. Let's go. And Cooper with the cleanup. Mitchell stepped on the baseline.
Ashley Morissetti right here saying, okay, let's see what's going to happen here. Oh, boy, nobody's rotating over? I mean, that's like a layup line at the beginning of the game. There's no defense. You're just taking it right up. That wasn't even Olay defense. That was no lay. That was e-fence. No D.
Foul away from the ball, being taken out of bounds. Represents Cameron Inoue, Sublau, the officials.
Take a look at what happened there. Alexa Hart grabbing up Harris with a bear hug situation.
Well, Harris is a 54% free throw shooter. And both teams sitting in the bonus. We have Sublau coming over to explain some things.
Trying to see if it meets the intentional criteria of a flagrant one foul. Take a look at what our officials are going to look at. She bear hugged her, and all the Purdue coaches are saying, it's an intentional foul, but I don't think it meets the criteria of a flagrant one, but we'll see what the officials come up with.
8-point advantage for Purdue.
Only 1 minute and 15 seconds to go here. Ohio State needs possessions, and now.
They will meet with both head coaches. A common foul is ruled. 2 shots coming up for Harris. Again, a 54% free throw shooter coming into tonight.
And just a common foul there. Not egregious enough to be deemed a flagrant one. And the intentional foul by Alexa Hart.
How about that?
When it rains, it pours for Ohio State. Statistically speaking, you think you can get an advantage, but Harris has other ideas.
Makes 2 of them. Lead back up to 10. Ohio State running out of time. Out to Calhoun for 3.
A lot of Ohio State's players only played 3 quarters yesterday. You would think they would be fresh in terms of how they like to play the game.
Hart gets the block on Harris.
It has been a different story today for Ohio State offensively.
3 of 21 from 3 for Ohio State.
And they shoot 36% on the season coming in.
Mitchell with a season-low 9 points so far. Hart keeps it alive. And it's Cooper with the take, but 19 seconds to go, down 8. A double-double tonight for Cooper. But Mitchell, a season-low 9 points, and Purdue has made it tough for her all night.
Kelsey Mitchell, 3 of 20 from the floor, 1 of 10 from 3. Purdue was always in her frame. If you're going to take a picture, you're going to see a ton of defenders around Kelsey Mitchell, making life incredibly difficult for the star junior and 2-time Big Ten Player of the Year.
Struggling against the Boilers. How about that shooting percentage in the 2 meetings this year against Purdue?
Combined 2 for 17 from 3. 6 for 37 from the floor. Kelsey Mitchell, just an uncharacteristic offensive day for her.
1 of 8 shooting in the second half. Just 2 points in the second half. Purdue, one of the hottest teams in the Big Ten coming into tonight. They had won 6 in a row, 9 of the last 12. They lost by 5 points to Ohio State in January, despite not having their 3rd leading scorer or co-captain, Bridget Perry. She was out with a concussion. They have Perry back tonight. Throughout this season, Purdue has missed 3 starters at different times this year due to injury. And they are on the cusp of perhaps becoming an NCAA tournament team with this win.
Oh, this is a huge notch in the belt. If we don't see any ridiculous things happen here in the last 19.5 seconds, but Purdue, they have done the job in terms of their full body of work, their momentum heading into the NCAA tournament. With this possible win, could be life-changing for them in the postseason in terms of seeding.
Best win so far for Purdue, Michigan State twice, Indiana once. They are 4 for 4. They've beaten a top 50 RPI team 4 times this year out of 8 tries.
That's something the committee needs to circle.
Final few seconds, and Doss will send Morissetti back to the line. The Boilermaker team had a chance to be a top 4 seed going into the final day of the regular season. Morissetti's first miss tonight. First semifinal, and we have the following one against Maryland and Michigan State. Final few seconds. Mitchell lets it fly. That's been the kind of day for Kelsey Mitchell.
Just frustrating. She has been taken out of her offensive rhythm. And Purdue and their collective defensive effort against one of the top players in the country has proven to be too much for Ohio State to overcome.
There are not many times in her career where Kelsey Mitchell has been held to single digits. But another great performance on the other side from Purdue's freshman Dominique Oden.
I just love this kid, Dominique Oden. She's not a freshman anymore. Let's go ahead and just bump her up and just call her a Division I basketball player. She is a killer in terms of her mentality and her competitive spirit for Purdue.
The Boiler backcourt, they have been so good. Nearly a couple of 20-point performances for both of them.
Well, just terrific play by Ashley Morissetti with her 7 assists and 24 points. It's just been incredible to watch that duo perform. And You see one coming into the collegiate level and one on her way out, but they're both playing the same level of competitiveness.
Kelsey Mitchell sitting in single digits with 9. She has only been held to single digits one other time in her career, and that was against UConn in 2015. 6 seconds to play. A 2-time Player of the Year was locked up tonight.
The quickest player to 2,000 points in her career. Only 79 games it took her to get that done, so you know she's a high-volume scorer. Played a ton of minutes tonight, 39 minutes. And it's just 3 of 21 from the floor. It's just mind-boggling.
That'll do it. Boiler up and upset. Purdue has taken down the 1 seed. (71-60) the final. Mitchell held to single digits for the 2nd time in her career. Purdue getting 3 in double figures. Morissetti with 24. Odin with 20. And the most successful team in Big Ten tournament history is going to get another crack at a tournament title. We have our first final spot filled, and the Boilermakers are happy to do it. Ashley Morissetti on senior day said Purdue was going to return to West Lafayette with a ring. They are just 1 game away from doing that. And a nice Purdue crowd here today. Let's go over to Christy Winter-Scott, who's standing by with Coach Bursitt.
Coach, you put together another amazing defensive performance against one of the most high-powered offensive teams in the country. What did it take for your team to sustain that level of defensive intensity?
It's just heart, conditioning. We talked about our Cancun trip. We had an opportunity to try to take Stanford down. We didn't. We learned from that. Just our defense just was phenomenal today. We just said we want to make them take outside shots. This is one of the most resilient and gritty teams we've ever had, and this was big for this group.
And Dominique Oden has played with a sense of urgency of a senior, but she's only a freshman. Speak to her level of poise and confidence.
Well, I mean, that's how she's been all year. She's been a starter for us. She was in a little slump there for a while, but she always contributed, and now she's scoring the ball exceptionally well. It bodes well for this year as we continue into postseason, but the future with her and our freshmen are going to be great.
And what does it mean for your seniors, your 2 seniors, Ashley Morissetti and Perry, moving on to the championship game tomorrow?
These 2 have led us all the way. You know, last year, they were juniors, and we fell a little short. We got to top 4. We didn't get to the final game. This is big time. Ashley and Bridget played their hearts out tonight. Just want to get them off their legs now and just enjoy this one.
Thanks, Coach. Great job.
Thank you.
She talked about the future. Vera Jones standing by with part of that future and the present right now for Purdue.
Well, Ashley, Dominique Odin, I'm speechless. I don't even know how to get into this. Your play was absolutely phenomenal tonight. 20 points, 50% field goal shooting, 8 rebounds. You were perfect from the free throw line at 4 of 4. So my question is this, your very first Big Ten, how do you feel?
I feel amazing. It's just a great feeling. We talked about it all season. We wanted to get to the Big Ten championship, and I just feel amazing right now.
Yeah, well, one of the things that you did very, very well, we all know it's all about defense, especially for Sharon Bursup teams. What was the strategy defensively to help take Kelsey Mitchell out of her game?
Well, we were supposed to sit on her left hand, make sure she didn't go left because we know she was a lefty. And anytime she went to the basket, we were supposed to close up the lane as long as we didn't have a shooter on our side, and that's what we did.